But I gotta ask you as well, because you're infamous for, of course, you worked on this low budget show called Hard Stern.
Yeah.
You ever heard of that guy?
Sure. Ham radio. A lot of people are on it still.
Yeah, but of course, that one of your competitors back in the day was Adam Carolla, who then brought that into his podcasting world. I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago. The shock news came out that Corolla has fired the majority of his podcasting staff. So now it's gone from being like a radio show as a podcast to pretty much a solo show where he does it all by himself.
No shit. He got rid of Gina and Bald Bryan.
Yeah,
They're out. All of them.
pretty much. Yeah, it's him
Wow.
and his voiceover guy do the whole show themselves. So if
Wow.
the question I basically have for you is, it's somebody who worked on the Stern show to then now doing the Shuli show, which is what I was going to call my show, but some stole it. No offense.
Okay.
Uh, what's that like for you? What going from working from a team to a spin, not a spin off, a solo show?
It was hard. It was hard because I was always kind of just adding to the decoration in the room. I wasn't really hosting a show. We hosted Miserable Men a while back, but once I started writing and producing for the show, you remember there weren't any more specialty shows on 101. It was just straight, everything was Howard. And so I haven't hosted a show in a long time. And when I left and I started the Shuli show, I was enjoying it. But after a while, I just wasn't enjoying it as much. I like having people on the show that I can play off of and work off of and riff with. And my whole thing was like, once I started podcasting, I want to be able to do this with my friends. So it was a matter of getting a hold of my friends and seeing if they were interested. And the beauty thing is, in this day and age, you can do something like this and get an income out of it. Whereas 10 years ago, I leave the show, I have to start doing, graveyard shift in an Alabama radio station. So, for me now, this reminds me, what I'm doing now reminds me of the first, 7, 8 years on the Stern show, which was, this is not a job. I can't wait to get there and do this. I can't wait till tomorrow's day and really just enjoying every second of it. That's where I'm at now. So it's great, but it was hard. It wasn't easy.
When you're working on a big show like Stern and you're not Stern, can you like relax in that job? Because I think one of the things that's kind of a shame about what's happened with Corolla because this is a rumor I'd heard a couple of years ago, so that means it's definitely true, is that whatever money was coming into the Corolla show, it wasn't exactly being spread out. So while Corolla was doing very well, and to be fair, it is his show, the other people in the staff were having to also do all these side jobs because it's like, we want to keep this big job, but you're not giving us the money to warrant that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a dilemma that I ran into. And look, it's different between Howard and Adam because Howard doesn't pay his people. Sirius pays his people. I didn't get a check every pay period that had Howard's name on it. So at the end of the day, I think working for a guy like Adam and the podcast is doing well, but at the same time, he's making movies. He's releasing drinks. He's doing, but it always seemed like they were very successful, and it kind of bums me out that they weren't getting their taste of it. But it's a spot that I was very familiar with, that I constantly had a battle with management there, not when Tim was there, but when new management came in, my battle was, well, they didn't like me doing podcasts and promoting my stand-up dates. And my thing was, well, you're not allowing me to promote my stand-up dates, and you're also not paying me enough where I can stop doing stand-up dates. So this is something that I need to do. It's a survival thing. I'm not volunteering. It's not a hobby. This is what I did when I got here. I wasn't doing it as well or making as much money as I am now, or at that point. And so just let me do it. My argument was, once this affects my job, then I'll stop doing it. But if I'm here Monday morning, ready to work, if I'm on a show and I'm not, I don't go on these podcasts and talk about the behind the scenes of the show. I don't agree to be a guest on a show of somebody who just wants to break down the Stern show. I wanted to go on these shows to be funny and promote the stand-up gigs that I'm doing, hopefully in that area. So, but you're trying to explain that to people that don't come from the entertainment world, and they don't necessarily understand that, and they're just seeing that, I don't know, you're being insubordinate, or just have a problem with authority. I was labeled that by management, that I had a problem with authority. I'm like, I don't have a problem with authority. I'm just going to do what's best for my family, and you're not going to fucking stand in the way of that. My job, my work speaks for itself, but I got to do what I got to do,
I always heard a rumor that you were so anti-authority that once you turned up to the Stern show wearing a leather waistcoat, crashed 2 beers, and went over to Robin and stunnered her. And I thought, surely that's a bit much.
Like, yeah, I threw my knee braces at Ronnie, knocked him over. They were almost as tall as him, one knee brace. But no, I listen, I give what I get, right? Like, my thing is, I never had an issue with any other management, any other executives up at Sirius. I was cool with all of them. They were cool with me. Just some people, that's just, I guess that's how they manage. That's how they run a company. And that's, I showed up telling dick jokes for a living. So it's not like my dream was to climb this corporate ladder. I don't give a fuck what title you have and what your position here is. You are a human being just like me. And if I can give you respect, you can give me respect. I don't care what my level is here. But if you're going to fucking shout at me in the hallway in front of people, I'm going to shout at you right back, and that was the thing that happened once with management, that people were shocked there. People were terrified when the new regime took over, and everybody walked real quietly. And my thing was like, I don't care what management thinks of me. As long as I get in that studio and that dude who this show is named after is laughing and enjoying what I'm doing, you can go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. You're not gonna fuck with me because he digs it, and that's it. So,
and that's a goddamn bottom line.
Yeah, that was my mentality. Once they started playing head games, I was like, fuck it.
What would be your advice though to Gina and Bald Bryan at this time? Because it is kind of a not that I'm saying that podcasting's hard, but it's such an unbelievably oversaturated market where there's people who have multiple podcasts at the same time, and so for them to start.
I'm right here, by the way. I'm right. Thank you. Some people are starting a network. It's ridiculous. No, it's hard, man. But the one saving grace they have, and it's the saving grace that I had, is they were a part of something that had a large audience. And so you're going to get carryover from that world. So you're in a better starting spot than 95% of the people doing podcasts out there. That's the plus in all of this. My first episode, I knew my first episode was going to be huge because I knew that Howard wasn't going to talk about me leaving. Nobody was going to know if I left, when I left, why I left. So my thing was like, okay, I know the numbers are going to be there for the first episode, but how do we keep the numbers for the second episode, right? And that was the trick. And it was something that I learned along the way. I didn't keep all the numbers, not even close, but then started going back up again and down. And I was just like, fuck, I'm not having fun. I don't like being on this alone. Now that I'm doing all this stuff with my friends, I'm sick of them. I'm ready to go back to being by myself, So I'll bring the Shuli show back for a few episodes, but the thing I'm building now is I just want to have like a radio station, like an old school vibe radio station where you can go on the YouTube or you can go on the Patreon, and there's a show, throughout the day. There's shows on. We're putting different people on the network to try it out, see what fans are digging. We had Levy Land up there. Tonight we're doing Men Are Talking with Anthony Zenhauser. We're doing Hughezy next week. We're doing a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah, Greg Hughezy from the Opie and Anthony show. But
He's more than
it's
welcome.
funny you say that show Men Are Talking, because I heard that's what the Saudis want to rename SummerSlam.
That's good. That
Yeah, but yeah, I think though I think that Gina and Bald Bryan will do great,
that
but they
sucks. That sucks. I feel bad for them, man. And Ball Bryan is like a Fred Norris in training, dude. That dude
mm,
is so fucking good. And Gina was fantastic. She's probably my favorite out of all of them. Yeah, she's great. You know what I really hope for?
nudes from Gina.
Uh, all right. Well, I was gonna say Mideast peace, but yeah, you're right. No, here's what I wish for: a return of David Allen Greer to the Corolla show. I mean, has there ever been a better guest on radio? Forget podcasts than David Allen Greer on Corolla back in the heyday.
Well, clearly you didn't hear Dennis Quaid go on the Adam Carolla show to promote his Christmas film from 2020.
I did not. I did not. But I mean, David Allen Greer has so many legendary moments on that show that are so fucking hilarious. And I always thought they worked so well together.
And you know what his name sounds like? The offensive word.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Well, everything sounds like that to you. You have a problem, but
yeah, Mavid. What kind of fucking name is that? But the one thing that I think's a shame is that, and you'll be so completely not used to this, is that the Adam Carolla fans have this thing where they keep listening to the show and complaining about the people on the show.
who
So
does that? Oh, everyone?
yeah,
How about that? Jesus Christ. I've never met a bigger bunch of fucking crybabies that are super fans in disguise. It's unbelievable. It's
I hate
unbelievable.
I hate people like that.
Guess what? I tried to watch Top Gun Maverick the other night, right? One of the worst movies I've ever seen. Okay. Sure, I came fast, but once I was done, I'm like, what am I? No, seriously, I got through about 35 minutes of this piece of shit and I shut it off and I moved on with my life. I didn't make a fake account and start tweeting Tom Cruise or Top Gun or a production assistant from the crew or a fucking key grip. I just moved on with my life. That's what you do. That's old school. That's old school. These Karens, everybody's got a voice. Too many people got a fucking voice. Freedom of speech. It's overrated. We don't need it. We don't need it. Select, like the check mark. Select few get it. That's all.
It's a shame you turned it off when you did, because at the 36-minute mark, Tom Cruise yells the N word. But I
Put it back
gotta
on.
ask,
I
yeah,
told my wife.